Yeah, this Kash Patel interview is a banger. We are going to watch a man who used to be like a conspiracy guy going on the Joe Rogan Experience as now the director of the FBI.
Let's just get to it because I know it's on people's minds. Epstein, right? The reason people are...
I love Kash Patel because he just always looks like he's up to no good. Like he's so high strung, like down to his hairstyle that like there's just, he always looks like he's hiding something, dude. Like he could be telling you about how he made his coffee this morning and you'd be like, dude, there's something off about the story. Like, did you put crack in the coffee? Why do you look this way? You look so manic all the time, dude. He's always like, yeah, I'm not hiding the secrets about Jeffrey Epstein. He definitely killed himself, Joe. Believe me, he fucking killed himself. It's not weird that I look like I put my finger in a electric socket and zapped my hair this way. That's just normal hair. That's the cool hairstyle of a cryptocurrency boss, Joe. Believe me. It's the eyes and the hair, dude. Yeah, of course. Who could forget his government headshot? The classic, can we take another one? I wasn't ready. I was not ready for that shot. Let's do another one, please. Who's he looking at? Where is he looking? My soul. He looks like he is he is peeking into my, he looks like he's got x-ray vision and he's looking at my insides, dude. You're just making fun of someone with cross eyes. Is he even cross-eyed? What the f are you talking about? I guess he is a little bit cross-eyed. I didn't even notice that. I haven't even noticed that he was cross-eyed because he's like so locked in.
Are pissed off about that. It's the same thing, right? 20 years ago or whenever it was, 2006, 7, 8, Epstein gets his sweetheart plea deal, right?
Right.
After committing the most horrific crimes on planet Earth, right? I wasn't...
Yeah, who's the one who gave him a sweetheart plea deal? Oh, that's right. Trump's, at the time, labor secretary, Alexander Acosta, back when he was a upstart prosecutor in Florida. That's right. Nothing suspicious there, Joe. Remember, I used to be a conspiracy guy until I became a part of the conspiracy.
I wasn't in power there. I wasn't in place there. I had, nothing to do with it. But people were rightfully pissed. I mean, this guy was committing the most grotesque acts you can against children. And the media spins up about it. Many in the media protected him. Why? Because of his relationships, who he knew, who his bankers were, who his colleagues were, who was on the island and stuff like that. Some pretty powerful human beings. And so when you peel back the layer and then what happened? The Trump administration, the last go around, decided, no, we're not going to let that go. We're going to investigate him, right? They charge him, they indict him, and he's awaiting trial. And I've said it, Dan Bongino said it, we've reviewed all the information and the American public is going to get as much as we can release. He killed himself. Do you think, let's play out the logical conclusion of this. Do you think that myself, Bongino, and others would participate in hiding information about Epstein's grotesque activities? Or do you think we would also participate in not prosecuting people we had evidence to prosecute people on? But the problem is there's been like 15 years of people coming in and creating fictions about this that doesn't exist. Where's the videotape of an Epstein Island of X, Y, and Z committing these frauds? Why haven't you given it to us? Do you really think I wouldn't give that to you if it existed? I'm working my ass off along with the leadership at the Bureau and DOJ to get you what we're allowed to give you. And you're going to get the video of the cell and you're going to see for yourself. And we will never be able to convince everyone.
Okay, let's get into that. So what did you think before you got in office? Did you think that Epstein was murdered?
No.
No suspicion at all of it?
But I have a different background, right?
Right.
So I was a public defender back in the day. I used to spend a lot of time in jails and a lot of time in segregated housing units, shoes as we call them, right? And so...
Oh, you didn't think so, huh? You didn't think so, huh? Nah, Joe, you don't get it. I, unlike 99% of Americans, even though I was a conspiracy theorist, which puts me in the 100% of Americans who believe Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself, unlike the 99% of normal Americans who also still believe that but aren't conspiracy theorists, I was the one guy who, out of all the conspiracy theories, I do believe, because remember, this is a QAnon guy, chat. This is a QAnon guy. He wasn't a conspiracy theorist? What? Oh, you're saying he wasn't a conspiracy theorist. I'm the one swagged out QAnon boy who just simply, on the Jeffrey Epstein stuff, had this unique position.
And I've known people that have committed suicide in these cells. And I know how you get in, how you get out, who works the system. And so the way, based on public information at the time, that he ended up, the pictures and him hanging himself, I was like, man, that guy killed himself. There's just no way that you could have run an op and had people go into that cell and not have any video of it and not have any people come out and say, hey, yeah, I saw that guy. He shouldn't have been there, the guard or this guy. There's just no access points into places like this in the detention center he was in, which I've been in.
So correct me if...
So why were both the cameras busted during the duration? Yeah, look at this headline. Kash Patel says he never promoted QAnon. Here are all the times he did. Kash Patel helped keep the QAnon movement alive on True Social, interacting with the Q accounts, appearing on QAnon podcasts, and signing his children's books with a QAnon catchphrase. Both guards allegedly asleep. Cameras mysteriously were not working. It's crazy that Jeffrey just killed himself right in that perfect moment, dude.
If I'm wrong, but what I was told, what I'd read, was that the guards were not paying attention or were sleeping.
Well,
right?
And in short order, you'll see it.
Is that correct?
Well, it's hard to surmise that from a video, right?
Right.
Where they and look, do guards doze off on the night shift? Yeah. But no one can get in to the cell. And if they had gotten in to the cell, you would see it.
But we were told that the cameras were down.
Well, I don't know who said that.
But that...
Oh, so the cameras are not down. Oh, so for this entire time, everybody was lying, I guess.
That was in the news.
We're giving you all the footage.
Dude, even Joe, dude, Kash Patel is, like I said earlier, because of the way Kash Patel presents himself in the most suspicious manner possible, okay? Him trying to defend this position makes it extra funny. Like, he's not one of these, like, smooth operators who can just, like, remain seemingly calm under pressure. When he's not under pressure, he looks like he's under pressure. He's like, yeah, the cameras, maybe they were off. I don't know.
Footage we have.
So why...
Wait. He didn't answer the question.
Told that the cameras were down.
Well, I don't know who said that.
But that was in the news.
We're giving you all the footage we have.
Oh, all the footage we have, except for the CCTV footage that was erased by technical errors. Surveillance video from disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein's first suspected suicide attempt was destroyed by accident. And the second time, this was the attempt. And the second time, the cameras were down. The requested video no longer exists on the backup system and has not since at least August 2019 as a result of technical errors. FBI studies 2 broken cameras outside of cell where Epstein died. 2 cameras that malfunctioned outside the jail cell where financier Jeffrey Epstein died as he awaited trial on sex trafficking charges have been sent to the FBI crime lab for investigation. Epstein's lawyers told the U.S. District Judge Richard Berman on Manhattan on Tuesday that they had doubts about the New York City chief medical examiner's conclusion that the client killed himself. Wow. So not only the first attempt, there was no CCTV jail footage because it was just erased because of technical errors, including the backup. Also, just a sequence of technical errors every time this guy was trying to kill himself. Who knows how? Guys, you don't understand. The sequence of technical errors are unimaginable, okay? It's just so unfortunate that every time this dude was either trying to kill himself or successfully killed himself, apparently, You're ignoring the far more likely explanation. Lazy ass guards not wanting to do their jobs, as in going by every 15 minutes against policy. They work double shifts and wanted to sleep. No, I don't. No. You're misunderstanding me. I don't think the guards were like the guards could very easily be in on it, or they could have very easily been sleeping. That's not my argument. I'm not talking about the guards. I'm talking about the fact that while the guards were sleeping, which is, likely, right? That's fine. Your voice is so annoying. Well, you don't have to listen to it, big dog. But in any case, it's not that the questionable part about this is not that the guards are sleeping, is that the cameras in both circumstances, the cameras fell asleep. How did the cameras fall asleep? In both of these circumstances, Jeffrey Epstein autopsy shows bones and neck were broken. Such injuries can occur in a suicide by hanging, especially in older people like the financier who was 66. Yeah, guards are sleeping, cameras are sleeping. The bone injury to the neck is also more commonly in instances of strangulation rather than like suicide.
So why wasn't that released like immediately? Why did this speculation escalate?
I think you'd have to ask whoever the attorney general back then was, Bill Barr.
Did you ever see? Do you remember that HBO autopsy show? Dr. Michael Baden. He's a famous forensic.
I don't think I've seen
scientist. That. So he's a pathologist, and he reviewed the case, and it was his determination that it was a homicide because of the way his neck was broken. And what he said was it was indicative of a ligature strangulation, and it was because of the positioning.
God, I love when this conspiracy nut is actually locked in on something, anything. I would bet the cameras failed way more often, but nobody cared when nothing happened. Epstein could know he had an opportunity to off himself because the guards weren't coming by. Wait, what? Dude, think about the incredible events. First of all, if he's trying to off himself, how does he know that the cameras are off? How does he know that the guards are sleeping? He's in his cell. Also, why? Why would a guy who is endlessly powerful and has an unimaginable amount of wealth and an unimaginable amount of power trying to kill himself twice? And the first circumstance is even more mysterious, considering that there was a former insane cop. He was on suicide watch. If the guards aren't coming by every 15 minutes, they aren't doing their job. He wasn't on suicide. He wasn't on suicide. He wasn't actually on real suicide watch, by the way. I think the first instance wasn't even suicide either. He seemingly had a very interesting bunkmate. The first time he quote unquote committed suicide, his gigantic bunkmate, Officer Tartaglione, the psychotic roidhead who had been in prison for assassinating 5 drug dealers after a drug deal that he participated in went wrong. And then he literally buried the bodies in such a shallow grave that their arms were sticking out. So not exactly the smartest guy in the bunch either, but he was a juice lord. That's the guy. That was his bunkmate. I guess Jeffrey Epstein wanted to kill himself because he didn't want to be around this guy anymore. He was like, man, this guy's a real yapper. I'm going to kill myself. I do not entertain even a little bit. If you want to call this my one conspiracy theory, you can. I don't even think this is a conspiracy theory. I do not even remotely entertain the possibility that a CIA and Mossad asset who had previously gotten a sweetheart plea bargain deal that no one has ever gotten in the history of child sex trafficking was this time apprehended and was like, oh no, my days are over. I'm going to kill myself. The very fact that he had all of that compromising information that mysteriously we will never find out, all the CDs, because his entire, every single property that he owned was literally to the gills, filled to the gills with cameras, running at all times. And all of the CDs that they recovered, all the tapes that they recovered with mysterious names written on them, none of them we will ever find out about. A guy that has that much information up here is unimaginably valuable. Why do you care so much about this case? I don't get it. What do you mean? It's one of the most interesting. It's like saying, why do you care so much about 9/11? Why do you care so much about the JFK assassination? It's one of those things that's like a broad daylight, clear as day, sex trafficking and blackmail operation that involved some of the wealthiest and most powerful individuals on the planet, dude. What are you talking about? Why do I care? A dude that was most likely, very likely, a federal agent, a agent of both the CIA and most likely Mossad, that engaged in a blackmailing operation and was linked with the Clintons, who would go to his New Mexico ranch with regular frequency. You think that that's not interesting? A prince was involved in this. Prince Andrew. It's truly one of the most interesting cases of our generation. Look, I think the story is spicy, but it's not something that I see as a thing. What? I'm interested in who was involved. Oh, man, shut the up. What is this? Do we got people tuning in from Langley? What the going on right now? Dude, just stop talking about this. Why do you care about this? It's like such an irrelevant story, actually. Dude, I don't care about like Jeffrey Epstein and whether he killed himself or not. Just stop looking into that, please. I don't actually like that you're doing that. He was 100% a Mossad asset and probably a CIA asset too. I fully believe one or both got the tapes. Like I said, dying mysterious at home. I'm 100% there, but he was murdered. But I've seen zero evidence that the guards did it or someone got into MCC undetected. Well, considering that the first instance was already suspicious enough with another a person that was in prison, there are numerous other. It doesn't have to be like a hitman that snuck into the federal prison. Dumbest on the planet. Yeah, the pedophile ring comprised of the most rich and powerful people in the world is kind of a boring non-story. Yeah, like dude. Ehud Barak, the former prime minister of Israel, was going in and out of this dude's Manhattan estate in 2016. Are you joking? What the are you saying? There is no way that Elon Musk's brother Kimball Musk, also in his New York Manhattan estate on numerous occasions, there is no way that a guy like that is killing himself in prison, dude. Like, the Diddy is interesting, but if you find the Diddy to be interesting, then you have to literally be laser focused on this. Okay? Because this is Diddy at a way higher level.
On the neck where the marks were, that it wasn't indicative of someone hanging by their weight, which had been higher on the chin. And there's a specific break of the bones and the vertebrae that's consistent with someone who is just strangled to death.
I haven't seen it. I'll definitely take a look at it because that's part of my job.
You haven't seen that?
The report on that? No, I haven't looked at that.
Did you see any? Was there any other autopsy done other than the official one?
Not to my knowledge, but if there was, you'll get it. And that's what we're doing.
See if you can find that Dr. Michael Baden thing.
Yeah. No,
Did you remember that show, the HBO show?
No.
Pretty cool show.
Yeah.
So this guy, Dr. Michael Baden, he had a long career.
Do you ever think you've ever radicalized a Fed whose job it is to watch your stream? I know. Listen, all I'm going to say is this. I know that there are definitely people that currently work in the Department of Homeland Security that are fans of this stream, and I do not know how they compartmentalize the information that they receive from me while simultaneously doing what they do. You know, hopefully one day they will be of use. I know for a fact that there are people who are, yes, watching. I mean, there's plenty of active duty military people that watch, and it's not just me, it's Chapo as well. We have fans, despite our politics and despite our commentary, we have fans in every facet of the American government, and it blows my mind. Every time I encounter a new person like this, I'm like, how does that even make sense? All it takes is one charismatic officer, which is the one. Exactly. And I'm sure there's someone, I'm sure I'm sure there's also people who who maybe are tasked with monitoring this chat.
Of catching murderers, exhuming bodies, finding trace amounts of poisons, different kinds of things. And it was a crazy show, like all these wild ways.
Any cops have ever introduced themselves to you as fans? Let's just say I've had brush-ins with not just regular cops, but a different degree of cop that have then, in the aftermath of conversations, have revealed to me that they are actually fans of at least some of my podcast appearances. Not like directly fans of mine, but have really enjoyed themselves when they not the Customs and Border Patrol guy. That guy didn't say that.
Well, I love watching shows, and I spend a lot of time on planes. So.
Yeah, it was an old show. It was a show like from the early 2000s, I believe. But this guy
No, I've never had a beat cop. The only time a beat cop has told me he was a fan of mine was in England. And I feel like that doesn't count as much. But like, I've never had an American cop, unless they were like actually a cop off duty and they didn't tell me, but and I just don't know. But I've never had a beat cop, like a regular cop, tell me they're a fan. I've never had someone from Customs and Border Patrol tell me they're a fan. I don't think I have a lot of cop fans, I'll be honest. That would be shocking. But I have had, let's just say, there's a type of cop that may or may not work for federal agencies that is more like a lawyer than a cop, like a nerdy cop. Think about it. Like a cop with a law degree that may or may not at times do investigations. Who knows, No, not Lolo, you weirdos. What? He's a public defender. He's the opposite of a cop. He's the op of a cop. No, I meant the FBI. Jesus Christ.
So, it's very well-respected forensic scientist who would analyze these bodies, and it was his determination that he was murdered.
Yeah. And my job, going back to the core of what I've been doing since I studied Russiagate, was to get, and is to get everybody the information.
When did you get here? Epstein's autopsy points to homicide. Pathologist hired by brother claims. New York City medical examiner strongly disputed the claim that the evidence from the autopsy suggested strangulation. So let's go to by the way, this is the New York Times, and they never lie. The private pathologist, Dr. Michael Baden, said in the morning TV show Fox and Friends, Mr. Epstein experienced a number of injuries, among them a broken bone in his neck, that are extremely unusual in suicidal hangings and could occur much more commonly in homicidal strangulation. I think the evidence points to homicide rather than suicide, said Dr. Baden, who observed the autopsy done by city officials. Dr. Baden, a former New York City medical examiner and a Fox News contributor, said, I have not seen in 50 years where that occurred in suicidal hanging case. Findings by Dr. Baden were strongly disputed by the city's chief medical examiner, Dr. Barbara Sampson, who previously ruled that Mr. Epstein's death on August 10th in the Metropolitan Correctional Center was a suicide.
Under normal circumstances, I would think that the FBI deputy director that's going on the #1 conspiracy podcast would probably be a little bit more equipped about all of the lines of questioning that he's going to receive about Jeffrey Epstein. But this administration is different. So I do believe that Kash Patel might be so stupid as to not knowing what all of the lines of inquiry will look like and not looking into it. Every other administration, I'd be like, no, of course he's lying. Like, obviously he knew about this, and obviously knew about this, and he's just lying. And he's like, oh, I didn't know this information existed. No. But then again, I also feel like Kash Patel is like, if he's a QAnon guy, like, did he not talk about Jeffrey Epstein at all? Like, I don't think there's no way that he has not talked about Jeffrey Epstein.
Suicide, I stand firmly behind our determination.
Sorry, he's not the deputy director. That's Dan Bongino. He is the director of the FBI. Dan Bongino is the deputy director of the FBI. Kash Patel, another media guy and a famous author of numerous children's books, that Kash Patel is the director of the FBI.
Of the cause and manner of death in this case, Dr. Sampson said in the interview on Wednesday, she added, in general, fractures of the hyoid bone and cartilage can be seen in suicides and homicides. The hyoid bone is near the Adam's apple. Dr. Sampson also dismissed Dr. Baden's contention that the circumstances around Mr. Epstein's death suggested other people may have been involved. She said her office had done a complete investigation, taking into consideration information gathered by law enforcement in making the determination.
So this is a perfect example of going back to my public defender and prosecutor days.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we call a war of experts. You can always find someone to come in and say the opposite.
Right.
And I used to do it all the time. I mean, I represented some of the worst humans that you can possibly imagine on Earth, literally. The guys that were trafficking children from Mexico into America. And you could put...
Okay, dude, what the don't... That's weird, man. You're a weird guy. Why would you say that? Like, I get it. You were a public defender, but goddamn, like that's an odd flex as the current director of the FBI that is mysteriously talking a very weird game about the Jeffrey Epstein situation.
Put up a professional expert to say, and this is what's going to go on forever. And my job is not the forever.
Kash Patel's so stupid. He's about to tell Joe Rogan that, you know, Joe, we run, like, I own the most child pornography, Joe. Like, I just want to let you know. As the FBI director, I am now in charge of the largest trove of CSAM, which is true, by the way. That is literally true. The FBI does unironically own the largest trove of CSAM on the planet.
My job is to get you absolutely everything that we can give you. And that's what we're going to do.
When did you become aware of this video that showed that no one had gone in and out of the cell?
Recently.
So why was it recent, though? I mean, if this death was... How long ago was this death? 2 years?
Couple...
2019?
2019.
Oh, really? Why time flies. So 6 years.
Well, again, that's part of what I'm going to try to answer for you.
Jeffrey Epstein jail CCTV erased by technical errors. Whoopsies.
Yeah.
But you see how anybody on the outside... I mean, this is like a perfect storm.
Yeah.
For some... Can you pull that article up?
Oh,
so we
come
read what it
on,
says, Jimmy?
Joe, you bitch. God damn it. You are such a dick sucker of this admin, dude. God damn. Dude, can you imagine Joe having an opportunity to talk to the FBI director under Brandon? You think he'd be like this? You think he'd be like, oh, yeah, it just seems like a lot of mysterious mistakes. I guess a perfect storm. What is... okay, dude, free them, you know? Why are you spamming this in the chat?
U.S. prosecutor said the jail mistakenly saved footage from the wrong cell. Sorry. Epstein, a convicted sex offender, first tried to kill himself in July last year and hanged himself in jail.
Hang on.
Yep.
Reread that line.
That he first tried to kill himself in July of last year. Yeah.
How much of the American public do you think knows that?
I didn't know that until right now.
There you go.
Maybe I heard it and forgot. Did you ever hear it, Jamie?
Dude, yeah, that's the first quote unquote tried to kill himself moment with Officer Tartaglio. Come on, man. Come on, Joe. Yeah, I did know it. Okay. And many people who paid close attention to this case, which according to that one chatter I banned, was really weird to just care about this case. You know, it's just stop looking into it. Because you're a Turk, you probably love Erdogan. Yeah, that's why I mysteriously haven't been back to Turkey since like 2016. Mysteriously, because I love him too much. I can't seem to get my hands out. I want to hug and kiss him so hard. So Turkey was like, "Don't come back." It's incredible that this is one of the top podcasts in the world, and no one looks into anything at all before talking about it. Totally lazy and worthless. Hire a producer, Joe. He does. He has Jamie.
That's why he's on suicide watch, I think.
Oh, okay.
So a guy.
How close are we to someone going, do you care about this because Jeffrey Epstein was Jewish? How close are we to that? Did I just reveal the next line of attack? Wow. Oh, classic.
Hanged himself in jail in August while serving trial on federal sex trafficking charge. He pleaded not guilty to abusing dozens of girls, some as young as 14. Yeah. Soon after Epstein's death in August, two of the CCTV cameras outside his cell had malfunctioned and were being examined by the FBI. Found semi-conscious in his prison cell with injuries on his neck on 25 of July. After this incident, he's placed on suicide watch.
I'm not saying every single camera in the place was working. I'm saying we've got footage and you're getting it. And then you can make up your own mind. And the theories can continue. But my job
So
is to give
you
the
became
information.
aware of this footage recently.
The ones that we're looking at, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, but this is like an article from quite a while ago that was saying that the footage was mistakenly erased.
Look, I mean, it goes back to the same aspect.
It's just odd that the footage got erased twice, you know, on both quote unquote suicide attempts. The footage mysteriously went away. How can that happen? Especially after the first time. Don't you think that that's something that, especially if he was placed under suicide watch, don't you think that that's something that they would care about? They're going to drop an AI video? Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. What is this? That's unironically what they tried to smear Corbyn with, that he was talking about Epstein anti-Semitically. Jeremy Corbyn accused of playing up Jeffrey Epstein's Jewishness, mispronouncing the dead pedophile's name during an election debate. Corbyn on Air Flub came Tuesday when he was asked about Prince Andrew's disastrous interview about his ties to Epstein. Before we discuss Prince Andrew, I think we should discuss the victims that are there because of what Epstein was doing, Corbyn said. To applause, clearly pronouncing his name Epstein. Okay. What? I mean, in Turkey, we say Einstein. Sometimes when I'm talking about Albert Einstein in English, I accidentally say Albert Einstein. It's normal. It's not anti-Semitism.
It's the people that were in power then. I mean, I get it that you want to hold me to account for their actions, and
No, I'm not saying,
not you.
I'm not saying that.
Not you. Just the public in general, and that's okay.
What's confusing to everybody today, first of all, it's very confusing because AI can kind of make anything. You know, which has got to be a bizarre position for you to be in when you're looking at videos. I mean, I've watched Viking videos. It looked real as you know? They just make Viking towns. I mean, it's really quite incredible what they're doing now, and it accelerates every month. I mean, I talked to Elon about it, and he said we're blown away literally every week. Every week there's some new breakthrough that we're like, wow, we didn't expect that.
Well, I can tell you after having looked at it, this ain't going to be AI.
You don't think so?
You're going to it's just not.
Oh my God, it's definitely going to be AI. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, now I'm convinced. Before I was thinking, they'll just be like, we couldn't find the camera footage. Now, I guess the cameras weren't busted. And turns out it's 100% AI. It's going to be like Jeffrey Epstein being like, with that robotic AI voice. Jeffrey Epstein being like, I, Jeffrey Epstein, want to kill myself. I can't take it anymore. Also, I love Hillary Rodham Clinton and hate Donald Trump for being cool enough to cut ties with me. Being cool enough to cut ties with me even before he found out I was diddling children. And it's like he's got like 8 fingers, you know? And they're like, this is not AI. Don't say this is AI. It's anti-Semitic to say this is AI. Oh, okay. Let's get
not great. You know, it's like if it were AI, like someone wanted to come in and make it, they'd make it better.
But why would you make it better when people could, you could have ambiguous footage that is, totally generated by AI? I mean, AI can generate blurry images. AI can generate night vision. AI can generate essentially anything that's already existed, like really 1984 VH.
Get Ready With Me to Pillage is actually a banger sketch idea. Quick pillage. We are going into the monastery. Look at how weak these English people are. It is time to sell them to slavery. I will bring one back to my wife, my shield maiden.
VHS tapes, they can do that.
They can. But I'm telling you, I'm giving you the tape from the tape. There's just like I'm giving you the documents from the vault, just like I'm giving you information to Congress on COVID origins or what have you. What we find is what you're getting.
Okay, so now
I like that these guys also were all super skeptical of government narratives. Even like the FBI under the Trump administration, they were like, oh, they're the FBI are enemies of ours, right? The enemies of the truth. But now that like it's other podcast guys that are in charge of the FBI, all of a sudden, everything's copacetic. All of a sudden, everything is airtight. You can trust the government narratives now. Because the guy telling you to trust the government narratives is just like you. The guy telling you, the guy from the government that's telling you that the government narratives are actually correct is a guy just like you. They put a podcast guy in there, and all the podcast guys that were like, I don't trust nothing from the government, is now going, nah, this is actually cool. This is fine.
Now it's saying 2019, missing jail video from the first Jeffrey Epstein suicide. So for the first attempt has been found. So maybe, let's put it into perspective, jails are not the most efficient, best run places. Yeah. It's not like
Fort Knox.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
It's, yeah.
You know, we're working with what we got.
Right.
So, and listen.
Yeah, Joe, we gotta fund the police. These pussies, they defunded the police, Joe. These cowards, these libtards, Joe. We gotta fund them. You know, that's what it is, Joe. That's the problem.
This guy's not the only guy to kill himself in prison. It happens, I don't know how often.
Right.
All the time.
Actually, the facility that they're talking about had a very, very low rate, at least that year. I think they might not have had a single other suicide, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. I remember reading something about it, but it was so long ago I can't remember. Also, yeah, people do get murked all the time. Suicide, on the other hand, is not at least in that specific facility was not so common. But we're also talking about like an incredibly high profile individual. Get the out of here. Thought it was that no other suicides in that shoe for 20 years. Are you seriously telling me that this guy runs the FBI? I am from the UK. Lad, you don't even know the half of it. You're just looking at him as an unserious person on the Joe Rogan Experience. Wait till you find out more about his background. He is a child books author. That's his like previous that he was famous for. A children's book that he wrote about Donald Trump being like a wizard or something, or taking down the wizard that is the Democratic Party.
Even if he killed himself in prison. So if he was murdered in prison, crazy, right?
Yeah.
You could see why very powerful people wouldn't want him talking.
If he was murdered in segregated housing, in isolation, after being on suicide watch in a place in a detention center that I've physically been in myself, it would be fiction. It's just, in my experience, that is not doable.
It's not doable even for the most powerful and wealthiest people in the world?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you think, though, that like if someone was in a position where a guy could release information that could potentially...
Prior to Jeffrey Epstein's death in August 2019, suicides at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York were exceedingly rare. The last recorded suicide at the facility occurred 21 years earlier in 1998 when Philadelphia mobster Louis Tura hanged himself in a cell. First suicide in 21 years at the MCC, the facility that Jeffrey Epstein was in. It happens all the time, Joe. All the time. Last time it happened was 21 years ago, Joe. All the time. Think about how common that is.
Potentially damage the most wealthy.
Also, cameras turn off all the time at the time of the suicide. Okay? Cameras always turn off at the time of the suicide while the prison guards are sleeping. It happens so frequently. Stop asking me questions about this. Please, halt your investigations. Cease your investigations, Joe. I thought we were friends.
Wealthy people on Earth, you would have a concerted effort that's unprecedented.
Sure.
You'd have the resources that we couldn't even possibly comprehend.
Yeah, I even doubt that the mobster actually killed himself, too. That was probably also a hit.
All pointing towards eliminating this one person that it could be done.
But, I mean, so many people have been implicated, right, already. And some of that information, what they did to Prince Andrew and everybody else is already out there. And so that's the conspiracy stuff that me and Bongino and the folks have to say, look, we will give you everything we can, and then we will have done our job. Also, if I had a shred, me, Cash Patel, had a shred of evidence, the Russiagate guy, the Jan 6 guy, the COVID origins guy.
Oh, dude, come on, Joe. You can trust me. I am the guy. You would trust me, right, Joe? Look at me. Look at how trustworthy I am.
Had a shred of evidence that this guy was murdered, I would be the first guy to bring this case hard and fast. And I would even doing press conferences every week on it. The first guy.
Okay, dude. Yo! Look into my eyes. You can see the white of my eyes, Joe. This is a sign of trustworthiness. Look at me.
That's what I'm asking people to play out to their logical conclusion. I'm not Comey. I'm not McCabe. I'm not the guy that was in the seat before. I have a wildly different background. I've been putting out the truth my entire career. Why would I risk all of it on this guy?
I believe you. Catch the letter.
Oh, yeah.
I believe you. I just think that,
Bro, you wrote children's books. What the do you mean? This is the greatest advancement that you did not deserve in your whole life. Of course you're going to defend the newfound position that you have and do a basic 180 on most of the conspiracy theories that you previously believed. Okay, you're the FBI director. Where's the QAnon shit that you were pumping? Huh? Why haven't you arrested Tom Hanks, Kash Patel? Why haven't you arrested all the pedophile clones like Mike Pence? What happened? Where we go one, we go all, right? Well, you're there, and we're back here. Why haven't you arrested all the criminal pedophiles in the deep state? What happened? Did they all secretly get executed? Where are the files that show that they're secretly executed? Yeah, QAnon literally believes every Democrat should be hanged in Gitmo. Why haven't we done that? No one gives a f if he killed himself. Where are the arrests? Who are the clients? They're just insulting our intelligence at this point. So his only argument is, believe me, bro. He's a terrible lawyer. He's a terrible liar. He's a lawyer, so it comes naturally to lie. Just expect him to be better at it. Let's ask Virginia Roberts what she thinks of. Oh, wait, we can't because she died under this guy's watch. Do you think we would participate? Yes, absolutely. Dude is full of shit. You could tell in the first 30 seconds. Kash Patel is such a liar. I've been working so hard on this, but hasn't read evidence that was released 6 years ago. How come Joe Rogan knows more than the guy working the case? I don't even care if he killed himself. Where's the evidence in prosecuting the criminals involved in his activities? Okay, fine. He killed himself. Now let's see that list. This might be the biggest lie ever told on Joe. And I've been watching Joe since he did this from his house. Why is Maxwell in prison if there's no evidence? Ain't nobody's buying this shit. Dude, also, like, yeah, Joe's own community is not buying this shit at all. Is Joe officially a propaganda mouthpiece for the right? To be fair, Reddit Joe Rogan has been anti-Joe Rogan for a while now. And also, this is not the first indication that he's a propaganda mouthpiece for the right. He has been a propaganda mouthpiece for the right for a while now. Come on, man. He endorsed Ron DeSantis. I'm not even talking about Trump, okay? You can be a dumb apolitical guy and be like, I don't really know anything. This Trump guy's like funny, whatever, right? He seems like a real honest guy. Sure, fine. Why not? But I do not believe that you could ever, in good conscience, endorse Ron DeSantis unless you are literally an op. You are an operative for the Republican Party. Because Ron DeSantis does not have any of the trademark cool factors that Donald Trump has. Okay?
you know, the problem is we've been fuming on this conspiracy for so long.
You are trending on the I think you should leave subreddit for some reason. What? I think you should leave. Why? What the I love Tim Robinson. Also, I've hung out with Tim Robinson briefly when I did Tim Heidecker's show.
And we love conspiracies, don't we?
Oh,
as a country,
it's
there's
good,
so
right?
much fun.
I mean, you know, they make
JFK tapes. Come on, like release the documents. We all love them. We love them. We love UFO ones. We love everything. We love the craziest conspiracies. They're exciting. We don't want to hear that he tried to kill himself in July and then succeeded in August. And look, I could imagine why the guy wanted to kill himself. He was going to jail for the rest of his fucking life.
Trending
and in jail.
Dog, this has 72 upvotes. It's also Dan Flashes. I've made that joke. Man, it's really popping. This shit really went crazy numbers, dude. 72 upvotes.
Sex offenders for children are not treated well.
And also, by the way, most Americans haven't, nor should they. Have you ever spent 1 minute in segregated housing?
No.
It's the worst. The absolute worst. Like, you and your background, you could probably handle it, right? Like, you know, just in all reality, most Americans, you put them in there for 5 seconds, they're going to slam their head against the wall. Literally. Yeah. They're going to lose their mind.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah.
It's that bad.
I'm sure. I could only imagine.
I'm sorry.
And I could only imagine this guy knowing that it's over. And what do you want to do? Do you want to...
Yeah, and then
who knows who the fuck he's working for? Let's just put that aside. Now, if you're working for, we don't have to name names. We don't have to speculate. If he's working for some agency, some group, some foreign group, and they decide to target his family because he's going to jail for the rest of his life anyway. They decide to target his family if he testifies against them. I could see where if I thought that it was like I'm going to be in jail for the rest of my life, or I tell and my family winds up being killed or destroyed, or who knows. Maybe you'd say, look, the honorable thing is to end it in prison.
Honorable, cowardly thing.
Cowardly, whatever it is. Like, you just
also,
decide.
At some point, that guy was going back into Gen Pop. And the one thing I'll tell you about prison systems is the people they eat are child predators.
Yes.
And he was going to get eaten.
Well known, yeah. And they probably wouldn't have protected him. Yeah. So the narrative has always been that there's video. Now, what is the chain of custody? Is there evidence that there is video? Is there evidence that it was moved around, stored, protected from people looking at it? Like,
you're going to get all that information. Like, that's literally what we're putting together. And we're going to give you every single thing we have and can. And that's the whole point. We can't fill gaps.
Aren't you like an oligarch? Where's that? That's the long hair years. I had way less aura in 2022. That was the long hair era. Way less aura. Those were the struggle years. 2020, I was fat. 2021 onwards, I was fat and had long hair. It was bad. It was bad as hell. Yeah. Terrible drip. Yeah, long hair, Teddy Fresh, fat. It was bad, dude. My prime was COVID. Sure. I think it was because I was known as like the hot guy pre-COVID. And then post-COVID, everyone's brains bricked. And they decided, yeah, he's hot, but I actually don't like it anymore. I hate that he's hot. Before COVID, it was like, oh, we love that he's hot. Oh, he can't keep getting away with it. Ha, ha, ha. And then post-COVID, it was like, actually, I decided I hate that he's getting away with it. He is now my enemy. This guy saying anything else? Nope, just shut up, pussy. All right, well. You were definitely less stressed 2021 than 2022. Manic Kev. God damn, another 100 gifted. Holy dude, what is going on? That's crazy. 100 bones. Is it payday up in here? What's happening? He's been going through it. Effeminate ass dude for real. He's just... He came back to Twitch to just on me and Ludwig. Stupid sexy Hasan, stupid sexy Ludwig. Y'all are both gay.
And we're not going to do that.
And you have to be methodical.
And we have to be, that's the other thing, right? We're reviewing not just the video, we're reviewing everything as meticulously as we can, because that's what we owe the American people. That's our job. And I don't want to rush to the sticks or the podium and just say, hey, look what we found.
Right.
And then be like, oh, sorry, I forgot the 4 seconds. If we miss 4 seconds, they'll be like, oh, well, it's in the 4 seconds you missed.
Right.
So I'm
How much can you talk about what you've seen?
Not yet. Just what I've told you.
Can you say you've seen anything?
No, that's the point, that there's nothing in there, like in the video. You guys.
I've never been more convinced that Jeffrey Epstein absolutely did not kill himself and was definitely assassinated. Oh my God. Kash Patel is the least convincing man on the planet. Kash Patel could convince me. Kash Patel would convince me of the opposite of things that I have believed for my entire life. Kash Patel could come up to me and be like, yeah, socialism is the way, actually. I'd be dropping that shit, okay? I'd be like, what? No, I'm capitalist going forward. It is crazy. He is the most, people are saying he's the most unconvincing man in America. What is going on? I'm starting to think Kash Patel did it. Yeah, he's so unconvincing. It sounds like he did it, bro. I hate to tell you that the same dude had sent Asman 100 gifted subs every 10 minutes for 3 hours. Wait, what? What? Why is there a guy who's farming Asman and me at the same time? Is he all right? Stop bullying the chatters, mods. He looks like a standoffish townsman with a mysterious devotion to a single obsession unknown to weary travelers in an H.P. Lovecraft story. This is the most aura you ever had? Yeah, that was aura.
To be bored.
You talking about the video of the murder or the suicide?
The suicide.
But what about the video from the island.
Oh, sorry. So you're talking about two different
Yes.
things. So
sorry.
So yeah. So again, we're going to give you everything we can, and people have to remember, we're not going to re-victimize women. We're not going to put that shit
Shut
back
the
up.
f- up. You are the Trump administration's FBI director. What the f- do you mean you're not going to re-victimize the women? First of all, the surviving victims definitely want this information to be out there. And I say that because some of the victims recently died. One of the victims recently died. And they certainly wanted this information to be out there. That's crazy.
Not happening, because then he wins. Not doing it. You want to hate me for it? Fine. Again, logical play out. If there was a video of some guy or gal committing felonies on an island and I'm in charge, don't you think you'd see it?
If you have access to it.
If I have it. Period.
Oh.
If I have it.
Oh, trust me, bro. Trust me, Joe.
Where else would it be?
Right. If you have it.
Right.
But you can't say that you have it
No, we're giving you everything we have.
so far.
Everything we have so far is
Have
the
you guys
universe.
gone over all the video that's available?
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. That's what takes so much damn time.
Right.
And
And is there video from the island?
not of what you want. The people out there have filled the void with can't wait to see X, Y, or Z.
Right. Speculation.
And I'm like, here's the other thing I've been asking for, right? Openly. If you have information on this, call us. Tell us. The best resource we have is the American people in the world.
Right.
Get me the tail numbers. Get me the flight, get me new information, and I will run that down.
So this narrative might not be accurate, that there's video of these guys doing this.
Exactly.
Is it possible that the video was taken and destroyed?
Well, you're talking about, decades worth of stuff, right? Remember, we have what we have pursuant to lawful search warrants and authorities from the case that was done however many years ago it was done. That's what we have. If other people have other stuff and they want to give it to us, bring it.
Have you guys reviewed everything that you have?
Almost. Yes, we have, and now we're figuring out how to put it out.
Since we were talking about fake news, this is going to come up because it's been going on since we've been recording here.
Uh-oh.
Elon and Trump seem to be in a bit of a spat, Joe. You want to check the tweet that Elon just put out a little bit ago?
Time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day. Jesus Christ.
I'm not participating in any of that conversation
What is
between
he?
Elon
Have a
and Trump.
nice day, DJT. Someone should take his phone away.
They're going back and forth about different things. And
Yeah. Listen,
Well, he said he was disappointed in Elon.
yeah,
Yeah.
they told him to leave.
Jesus Christ, that's a crazy thing to say. How does he know? Does he know that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files? Or does he have access to the Epstein files?
I don't know how he would, but I'm just staying out of the Trump Elon thing. That's way outside
What
my
the
lane.
What are they doing?
I know my lane, and that ain't it.
I just don't. I mean, I understand he owns Twitter. I think it's bad for your mental health. I think posting things public all day and
Bruh.
arguing with people all day is bad for you.
Get the
Well, you raise a great
fuck
point. Sorry to
out of
cut you off.
here, dude.
Half
Get
of
the
what we have to
oh,
respond to
come on,
is the
dude.
click army on social media.
Oh my God, this was the least convincing thing I've ever seen in my entire dang life. Oh my God. Get the okay, dude. All right, listen. I gotta go.